All right, welcome to the Fantasy Six-Pack Waiver Wire Show. I'm Joe Bond here with Corey Pieper after an exciting Week 10 of football here. A lot of blowouts here in the late afternoon games. Those were super fun. At one point, I tweeted out, or not tweeted it, in our Discord. I posted something like it was like 78-3 was the span of scores by the winning teams to the losing teams. That was pretty awesome.
There were no comebacks either. Some of them at least scored. Each of them scored.
Correct.
So you got some garbage fantasy points out of it. But it was most of those games were done. Like the Seahawks game was done in literally half the first quarter. It felt like that game was over.
I mean, yeah, the two defensive touchdowns within the first 5 minutes. That'll do it.
Man.
So
just brutal. It's brutal.
Pretty bad.
I went against the Seahawks defense in 2 leagues. Two of them.
I did not. I don't play in a lot of leagues with defenses, so that's probably why I didn't. But all right, so we are here with some waiver wire options. A little early preview into everything. Corey's article will drop Monday afternoon with the final list, but this is a pretty close list of what the top 6 will be, I'm pretty sure, and we will start right off here. So lead the way, man.
Joe is going to go first here. We are going to talk about Luther Burden, the rookie wide receiver for the Chicago Bears. Today, the stat line, 3 catches for 53 yards on 3 targets. But as we talk about on the waiver wire, a lot of times it's opportunity, and he might be getting a slightly bigger one for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, it looked like DJ Moore suffered a shoulder injury late in the first half and did not return in the second half of this game. This wasn't a blowout either. Like, this was a close game. In fact, the Bears had to come back. So the fact that he didn't get back into the game kind of tells you a lot. We'll have to see what the injury report is throughout the rest of the week. Maybe they come out tonight, Sunday night, Monday afternoon, and say that he'll be fine. In which case, Luther Burden probably goes off your radar. But in the off chance that DJ Moore is out for an extended period of time, Luther Burden gets an immediate huge boost. He will be the wide receiver 2 in that offense behind Odunze. And look, we've seen it when he gets the opportunity. He's a talented guy. He can make plays when he gets the ball in his hands. It's just a matter of getting him enough targets. And we knew that was going to be an issue going into this year. And it's carried through all year long. He just hasn't gotten a huge opportunity. He's even been behind Zacchaeus. So that was a bit of a surprise going into the year, but that has not helped things. But DJ Moore injury would absolutely make him a big waiver option for me.
Yeah, I think so too. Zacchaeus had a just miserable drop in that game too, so I think we can start to phase him out of this offense a little bit, and let's even when DJ Moore's healthy, let's just make it Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and Luther Burden like it should be. We can phase Zacchaeus out. So
we keep hoping for lots of things, and we finally got one this week. We got a Henderson week. We finally got one. Yeah. Maybe let's see if it actually turns into a Henderson backfield. Only when Stevenson returns, that will be the big story. But moving on here, a guy that we've mentioned before, and I was surprised that he's still out there in a lot of leagues, especially with the Brian Thomas Jr. injury. Parker Washington for Jacksonville. I know, look, I get it. Trevor Lawrence hasn't been awesome, but Parker Washington was the number 1 receiver on that team and was getting lots of targets. Why do we like him going forward?
Yeah, you said it. It's a target-driven league. We can say what we want. Like, you want the receptions. Absolutely. We want guys to catch passes. But a lot of what it comes down to is what is the opportunity, and Parker Washington continues to pace the way in targets. Technically, newcomer Jacoby Myers led the way with 41 yards receiving on his 3 catches. Parker Washington had 3 catches for 33 yards and a touchdown, but another 7 targets. So the last 3 weeks, it's 10, 9, and 7. And he tends not to be very efficient with them. Brian Thomas was out. Travis Hunter was out. Travis Hunter, I'm not entirely sure is going to play the rest of the season. He's already on the injured reserve, so it'll be a while. Brian Thomas could be back next week, but look, we all complained about Brian Thomas not getting the ball and Parker Washington getting it when he was there. So why is that going to change? If you play in a league with kick return or punt returns, also Parker Washington returned a punt today, so you got an additional 6 point there. So yeah, it's just a matter of volume, and he's getting so much of it right now. They're playing the Chargers upcoming defense next week. But if you're going to tell me that I got a receiver who can get me 7-8 targets on the waiver wire, yeah, that's a wide receiver 3 any week. So I go get Parker Washington.
Yeah, I totally agree. I unfortunately picked him up in a lot of places. Did not start him every place. Wish I had.
Yeah.
It's a tough matchup, man. Houston was supposed to be a team shutting down the pass, and they didn't really do that as much as I thought they would today. So it was kind of one of those off games for Houston's defense. Another fun stat. Listen to this one. Jacksonville Jaguars over the last 2 games. Points scored against them in the first 3 quarters of the last 2 games combined. 30. I gotta look it up. I tweeted it. So the Jacksonville Jaguars points allowed the last 2 games combined. Quarters 1 through 3, 19 total points.
Okay.
Quarter 4. I originally tweeted that it was 34 points and 40 if you counted overtime. But then the very last play of the game,
had to go back and recorrect
Houston returned it. So I don't have Twitter Plus or whatever it's called. So I just responded to myself and make that 40 and 46 points allowed if you count the overtime. Just unbelievable how good the Jaguars have been on defense the first 3 quarters of the last 2 games against Vegas and Houston.
Yep.
And then just implode in the 4th quarter. What is going on? I've made them my streaming defense the last 2 weeks, and it looks really, really good through the first 3 quarters. And then I'm like, no, wait, what's going on?
What happened here?
What's going on? Stop it. It's just it's maddening. But all right. Anyway, I just wanted to share that little fun fact.
That's a good one.
Thought that was interesting.
On to the next one here. The tight end recommendation of the week is Cade Otton, the tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who just keeps getting. This is kind of what we expected, I think, early in the year. We kind of liked him. Both of us, we talked about it, I know, at least off air. And the targets are there. 12 targets. He caught 9 of them for 82 yards. And that's what we get with Cade Otton, is just consistent volume, I think.
Yeah, ever since, Mike Evans, obviously Chris Godwin's been out. You like some of the complimentary receivers there, but they are complimentary receivers, right, to Igbuka. Cade Otton has shown back up for Baker Mayfield and been a more reliable target getter for him that we've seen in the past. Not scoring touchdowns, which you mentioned before the show, which I hadn't even really realized. Haven't studied a lot of Cade Otton. But yeah, I mean, look, over the last few games here, 5 targets, 6 targets, 9 targets, 5 targets. Today was 12. 12 is probably not going to happen a whole lot more. But I mean, look, in PPR leagues, he has double-digit points in 4 out of the last 5 games. You can't ask for much more from your tight end. That's pretty good, especially if you're struggling at that position. That's going to help you out tremendously. I've started Mason Taylor in a couple places today, and so did you. And I wish I had Cade Otton instead. Let's put it that way. So I mean, Mike Evans is done, right? And Chris Godwin, now they're talking late November, early December at this point. Who knows, man? Would you be at all surprised if neither one of those guys come back the rest of the year? I wouldn't be at this point. No. It's totally crazy. So, Cade Otton, I feel like we need to have a segment, a little sound clip, tight end of the week. Because every single week there's a new one that we kind of like, but that's just kind of
that's the position this year. It's odd that it is like that, but there've been a lot of guys I don't want to say emerged, because we know who Cade Otton is, but players that you can, if I had to do it again, and I was somebody who was a proponent of get Trey McBride early, get Brock Bowers early. I don't remember the other one I was targeting. I was still good on Kittle. And then I remember we waited, right? I got, I think 1 or 2 Tucker Crafts, and that was about it I ever got in the middle. I never had Sam Laporta. I didn't get Hawkinson. I didn't get Tyler Warren, which I wish I had, but you could literally just stream this position. And if you got lucky, maybe you picked up Rondé Gadsden or whatever, and you're holding it. But otherwise, Jawan Johnson and Theo Johnson and Harold Fannin and
Dalton Schultz is he showed up today.
Mason Taylor's had stretches where he's been good. Cade Otton's been pretty solid at times. So I don't know. I have to rethink my tight end approach again next year. I'm not sure. I might just completely pump the position. Completely.
It's just I will say this though, after the top 3, this year, right? If you had gone for any of those middle guys, you're not in any better shape than if you had totally waited, right?
No.
But not getting one of those top three, it's been a struggle of guessing who's going to be good any given week, right? Like even this week, take for example, like Sam Laporta. The Lions destroyed my Commanders, right? Sam Laporta, 5 catches, 53 yards. Okay. But even that, like he hasn't been awesome. David Njoku scores a touchdown, but 2 targets. Like it's just been like, who can you trust every single week? And Mason Taylor, we thought he's a guy that you can trust every week. This week, just absolutely miserable. Justin Fields throws for 54 yards.
42.
I don't care who you're playing.
One play on 42 yards came to one dump pass to Breece Hall. He had 12 passing yards the rest of the game.
Yes.
It was, I texted you at one point. In 2 plays, he threw for 6 yards. He just doubled his yardage total. Like it was just the most terrible game. That might have been his worst game yet, which is saying something. It is awful.
It is. I don't care who you are and who you're playing. I know the Browns are good, but no, you can't throw for 54 yards and be a starting quarterback in the league. The problem is their backup is Tyrod Taylor. And as much as I love some Tyrod Taylor, that ain't working either. So, all right, let's see what else is working here, though. And we got good old Tez Johnson, repeat of the waiver wire as well. Another Tampa Bay Buck.
Yeah, second one in a row. Kind of the same thing like you were talking about. Mike Evans is gone. Chris Godwin had a setback in his tibia or fibia. I don't remember what the bone was, but whatever his bone is, he had a setback in it. And like you said, not going to be playing. He hasn't practiced fibula. Thank you. Hasn't practiced in at least a month. And you mentioned it. I don't know if I would expect Chris Godwin to play anymore. I think if you had a Chris Godwin, you could probably drop him right now in a redraft setting. You could probably go ahead and drop him if you really wanted to. But Tez Johnson, so the targets are there. He's a little bit still touchdown dependent because he is still the third option in this offense behind Emeka Egbuka is clearly the top. Cade Otton's the more reliable one. Tez Johnson is more of a downfield threat. So it really started week 6. I think that's the week that Chris Godwin got hurt. That was that one bomb, 45 yards and a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
And then since then, 9 targets the next week. That was the one that I don't believe that Egbuka played. 4 catches for 58 and a touchdown that week. Then 6 targets, 5 for 43. And then coming off the bye here, 5 targets. He caught 4 of them for 42 yards and 2 TDs. It's a little touchdown dependent, but they have matchups coming up like the Buffalo Bills. They should have to throw the ball a lot, Nick. We saw Buffalo not play up to their capabilities today, but I would expect that both the quarterbacks in that game are throwing the ball 35 plus times. Tez Johnson can still be effective in that type of volume. And then the Rams, we were just talking about, are they ever going to play a close game? That should be a high scoring game, a lot of pass attempts. And then it's Arizona and New Orleans. We'll see from there. But the next couple of weeks, I think you can play Tez Johnson if you're looking for a wide receiver.
Yeah, if anything, he's kind of playing that McMillan role, man, where it's just like he's not seeing a ton of volume, but he's scoring touchdowns. And it just seems to be working for whatever reason. That role just happens to score a lot of touchdowns. And hey, you're going to take it. So,
yeah, touchdowns help.
As they do. Yep.
Okay. The last one here that Joe is going to go over is an Indianapolis Colt, and it is Alec Pierce, who has been a mainstay on the best of the rest waiver options with his 3 catches for 105 yards and a touchdown performances. But this is a different version of Alec Pierce over the last month.
Yeah. The thing with him was that he hadn't seen over 5 targets through the first 6 weeks. He had never seen more than 5. So he just wasn't getting enough volume. He was obviously behind Downs and Pittman and Warren. Defenses have started to focus a little bit more on Warren, you can tell, rightfully so. Downs has been off and on hurt. And then Pittman's really good, but he gets shut down really quick. I don't know if you've noticed that. Like if he has a really good corner against him, he doesn't take advantage. Like he cannot beat good corners, it feels like. And I don't know what it is. So in moves Alec Pierce, who now over the last month has had over 5 targets, 3 out of the 4 games. And in fact, has had double-digit targets twice. Today, he only had 7. But hey, caught a touchdown with one of them, which was an amazing grab early in that game. Daniel Jones threw that ball, and I was like, what are you doing? And Alex Pierce just went up and got it in between two guys. It was like, oh, okay. But yeah, Alec Pierce is turning into a pretty good, reliable target here. The problem, though, with him is that he is on bye next week. And then after that, they have a rough stretch. So maybe put this one a little bit lower on your priority list. They get Kansas City. Then they get Houston, who normally is good against the pass. Today, kind of, I don't know. But then they get Jacksonville and Seattle. Look, Seattle is a good defense, but they do allow some yards in the air. San Francisco and then Jacksonville. So after the next 3 weeks, I would say he's going to be really good. So maybe if you can stash him, that's fine. You might not want to rely on him against Kansas City or Houston, except for the fact that maybe against Kansas City, it might be a little bit of garbage time, but I don't know. Kansas City hasn't really been blowing out a lot of teams. It feels like they've just been winning, tough, gritty games. So that might be a bit of a competitive one, but I don't know. That one's a little bit iffy for me. But yeah, Alex Pierce is somebody who I think should be on your short list of ads this week for sure. So
yeah, new target volume is always good.
Yeah. All right. Last one here. And I think we've talked about him before as well. Jayden Higgins of the Houston Texans. What do we got?
I think we talked about him, the two of us, off air. I'm not sure we've talked about him on here because we debated a couple weeks ago when Nico and Christian Kirk were hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the three Iowa State receivers, Jayden Higgins, Xavier Hutchinson, and Jalen Noel.
Yeah.
We went with Xavier Hutchinson, but I think it's Jayden Higgins now. And Christian Kirk and Nico Collins are back, and I still think it's Jayden Higgins. So
yeah,
2 weeks ago when we talked about it, Jayden Higgins had the 8 targets. He caught 4 of them for 34 and a touchdown. And then he just disappeared last week. Christian Kirk was back, and it looked like, okay, well, here we go. I guess you can cut all these guys. Jayden Higgins had 1 catch for 4 yards. Well, today, just looking at the snap share early on, Nico Collins got his 67 snaps, as he should. He's the best receiver on the team. And then Jayden Higgins, 43 snaps, ran 26 routes. Xavier Hutchinson, 40 snaps, ran 27 routes. Christian Kirk, 32 snaps. So it looks like Jayden Higgins has taken over as the number 2 receiver here and delivered with another pretty solid game. 7 targets. He caught 5 of them for 42 yards and a touchdown. That was from the top fantasy performer of the week at quarterback, Davis Mills. So we shall see if when CJ Stroud comes back, does it shift back? Honestly, kind of like we talked about with some of these other teams, Jacoby Brissett with Kyler Murray and Joe Flacco replacing Jake Browning up in Cincinnati. They threw the ball. Their passing attack looked a little bit better today in Houston. I thought, sorry, CJ Stroud, you haven't really been getting it done. And Davis Mills was at least willing to rip it into there. And I don't remember what he threw for. He threw for a lot. He ran for a lot. And the Texans passing game looked pretty good. CJ Stroud will be the quarterback when he's unconcussed. I assume that's next week. But I think I would take Jayden Higgins if I was prioritizing these receivers, because we have a lot of receivers on here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Parker Washington at the top. We agree with that?
Yes.
Parker Washington at the top. I think I would take if I had to play one next week, if I hear that DJ Moore is out, it would be Luther Burden, but otherwise Tez Johnson. I don't know between Alec Pierce and Jayden Higgins. That one's tough. I think maybe Alec Pierce just because he's getting more involved, but I don't dislike Jayden Higgins either. I think those are all pretty good options right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Houston's kind of changing things up. And when we suggested, Jalen Noel, it was with the expectation that Christian Kirk was not returning as quickly as he did. I think that kind of surprised everybody. We knew Collins was coming back off the concussion, but Christian Kirk, there was no hint that he was coming back the very next week. And then
he's
he
not
just
exactly
did.
A beacon of health.
Yeah. And so with Nico Collins being the only alpha receiver on there, they were rotating Hutchinson, Noel, and Higgins a lot. In fact, it was Hutchinson that was playing a lot more of the secondary, as the second receiver, and then Noel and Higgins were kind of rotating that third receiver. Well, with Collins and Kirk back, it's completely different. For some reason, they're just when those two are there, we're rotating who the third receiver is between the rest of those three, and then they lean more Higgins, it feels like. And so that's just, it's kind of odd how they do it. And then like, as you mentioned today, like they actually took Kirk off the field more. So he saw less snaps today than Higgins did. And it could have been a little bit of, game script because they were having to come from behind, like,
Sure.
29-10 down or something like that. So that got Higgins more involved. But,
Sure.
That's the way it works sometimes. And you just got to hope it kind of continues that way. So, all right. Yep. That is it for the week 11 waiver wire show. Good luck to everybody in the rest of your matchups for week 10. And check out Corey's article tomorrow on Fantasy Six Pack, Monday afternoon, that would be. And see you next time. Bye.